You walk into court confident. You've got your evidence, your witnesses lined up, and you know you're in the right. But then something happens. The judge sustains an objection. Your crucial piece of evidence gets thrown out, and just like that, your entire case crumbles. What went wrong? You made one critical legal mistake that attorneys see destroy cases every single day. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're making it until it's too late.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because today we're diving into something that could literally save you thousands of dollars and years of stress. We're talking about the one legal mistake that destroys more court cases than anything else. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why even people with the strongest cases end up losing because of this single error.
Now, I want to be clear right from the start. I'm not a lawyer, and nothing in this video constitutes legal advice. If you're facing a legal situation, you absolutely need to consult with a qualified attorney in your jurisdiction. But what I can do is share the insights that legal professionals have revealed about the most devastating mistake they see clients make over and over again. So let's get into it. The mistake I'm talking about isn't what most people think. It's not hiring a bad attorney. It's not missing a filing deadline, although that's definitely important. It's not even failing to gather evidence, though that matters too. The number one mistake that destroys court cases is something far more fundamental and far more common. It's talking when you shouldn't be talking. I know that sounds simple, maybe even obvious, but hear me out, because this goes so much deeper than you might think. People destroy their cases by talking to the wrong people at the wrong times in the wrong ways, and they do it constantly without even realizing the damage they're causing. Let's start with social media, because this is where so many cases fall apart before they even get to court. Picture this scenario. Someone files a personal injury lawsuit claiming they're severely injured and can't work. Their attorney is building a strong case about how this injury has destroyed their quality of life. Then the defense attorney logs onto Facebook and finds photos of the plaintiff jet skiing last weekend. Case over. Settlement value just dropped by hundreds of thousands of dollars, or the case gets dismissed entirely. This happens all the time. People think their social media is private, or they think one little post won't hurt, or they genuinely don't see the connection between what they're posting and their legal case. But here's the reality. Anything you post online can and will be used against you in court. That funny joke you made about your injury, it's now evidence that you're exaggerating your claims. That check-in at a restaurant when you said you couldn't leave your house, that's evidence too. Even posts you think you deleted can often be recovered and presented to a judge or jury. And it's not just about posting things that directly contradict your case. Sometimes people post things that simply look bad or create the wrong impression. If you're in a custody battle and you post pictures of yourself partying every weekend, even if you're doing nothing wrong and your kids aren't even with you, it creates a narrative that you're not focused on being a parent. If you're claiming emotional distress in a lawsuit, but your Instagram is full of happy vacation photos, a jury might question how distressed you really are. But social media is just the tip of the iceberg. The bigger issue is talking to people directly about your case. And this is where things get really complicated, because the natural human instinct when you're going through something difficult is to talk about it. You want to vent to friends. You want to explain your side of the story to family members. You want to defend yourself when people ask questions. But every single one of those conversations can become a problem. Here's why. In most jurisdictions, conversations with your friends, family members, co-workers, or acquaintances are not protected by any privilege. That means if you tell your best friend about your case and the other side subpoenas your best friend to testify, they have to tell the truth about what you said under oath. If you told them something that contradicts your testimony or damages your case, that's now part of the court record.
People also tend to be less careful about accuracy when they're talking casually to friends. You might exaggerate details to make the story more interesting. You might misremember something and state it as fact. You might express frustration by saying something like, "I knew I shouldn't have done that," when really you were just venting. But when those words come back to you in a deposition or trial, suddenly that casual conversation becomes evidence that you admitted fault or knew you were doing something wrong.
Then there's the problem of talking to the other party in your case. This is especially common in family law situations like divorces or custody disputes. People want to work things out directly. They want to have conversations and come to agreements. But when you have a lawyer and a case pending, having direct conversations with the other party almost always makes things worse. You might say something in the heat of the moment that gets twisted and used against you. You might make an offer or agreement that your attorney would never have advised you to make. You might think you're being recorded when you're not, or not realize you're being recorded when you are.
And speaking of recordings, let's talk about that for a second. Depending on your state, recording conversations without all parties' consent might be illegal. But even in states where it's legal, people record conversations all the time specifically to use them as evidence later. That heated phone call where you lost your temper, if it's recorded, it's going to be played for a judge or jury, and you're not going to look good.
Even when you're talking to people who are on your side, you can create problems for your case. Let's say you're a plaintiff in a lawsuit and you're talking to a potential witness who's going to testify on your behalf. If you tell them what to say or you discuss the case in detail and then their testimony lines up too perfectly with yours, the defense is going to argue that you coached the witness and their testimony isn't credible.
Suddenly, a witness who should have helped your case is actually hurting it.
Another way talking destroys cases is by creating inconsistencies. Memory is a weird thing. The more times you tell a story, the more the details can shift and change. Maybe the first time you told the story, you said the car was blue. The second time, you said it was dark-colored. The third time, you said it was black. None of these are necessarily lies. They're just your brain filling in details or remembering things slightly differently each time. But when you're in a deposition and the opposing counsel has transcripts of everything you've said before, those little inconsistencies become ammunition to attack your credibility. Now here's the thing that makes this mistake so insidious. Most people who make it genuinely don't think they're doing anything wrong. They think they're just living their life, talking to their friends, posting on social media like normal. They don't understand that when you're involved in a legal case, normal life gets put under a microscope. Everything you say and do becomes potential evidence. And it's not just about civil cases either. This destroys criminal cases too. How many times have we heard about people talking to the police without a lawyer present and completely tanking their own defense? People think if they just explain themselves, if they just tell their side of the story, everything will be fine. But talking to law enforcement without an attorney is almost never in your best interest, even if you're completely innocent. Anything you say can be used against you, and nothing you say can really be used to help you because it's considered self-serving hearsay. So what's the solution? How do you avoid making this mistake that destroys so many cases? The answer is simple but difficult to implement. You need to be quiet. Stop posting on social media entirely while your case is pending. Don't talk about your case with anyone except your attorney. Don't have conversations with the other party. Don't try to explain yourself or defend yourself to people who are asking questions. Just say, "I can't discuss it because I have a case pending," and change the subject. If you absolutely must talk to someone for your own mental health, Talk to a therapist or counselor because those conversations are protected by privilege in most situations. But even then, be aware that there are exceptions, and your attorney can advise you on what's truly confidential. The key is to remember that your attorney is the only person who is legally bound to keep your conversations confidential and who is working in your best interest. Everything you tell your lawyer is protected by attorney-client privilege and can't be used against you. So save all your talking for your attorney, give them all the information they need, and let them do their job. Look, I get it. Being involved in a legal case is stressful and isolating, and staying quiet about it feels unnatural. But protecting your case has to be the priority. One careless post, one venting session with a friend, one conversation you thought was private can undo months or years of legal work and cost you everything you're fighting for. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because we're constantly dropping videos about legal insights, life hacks, and things you need to know to protect yourself. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you ever seen someone destroy their own case by talking too much? Or maybe you've learned this lesson the hard way yourself. I'd love to hear your stories. And remember, if you're facing a legal situation right now, stop watching YouTube videos and go talk to a qualified attorney in your area. They're the only ones who can give you real legal advice for your specific situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.